Jake here from Penrith Solar, and I'm joined with Mark, the King, MC Electrical. And today we are going to tell you how to get regret-free solar, which is what we all want, right, Mark?
Mate, so many disaster stories in the industry, isn't there, or online or whatever, and that's all we want to do is avoid that, you know. So solar gets a bad rap from some bad players. So.
It certainly does, and it doesn't have to be that way. So by the end of this video, you're going to know how to get regret-free solar, and I'm going to give you a little nugget of gold that my good friend, our good friend, Eddie, told me a few weeks back.
I heard him drop it on your podcast. It's a fantastic little bit of a tip, I think. So
It is. Mark, tell me, what do you think people should be looking out for to get regret-free solar? What is regret-free solar, by the way?
Well, in short, I mean, we regularly go back to solar systems that were installed by 3 years ago or something like that, 3 or 5 years ago, that were installed by some guy that was, used to work for a cricket company or play cricket, and the TV ad companies, and they just completely screw up the solar. So you've spent, your $3 or $5 grand thinking that you've got a really good deal, and here we come back 3 or 5 years later, no exaggeration, you'd do that all the time too, right? Rip that system off, it goes to landfill, what a disaster that is in the first place. Second disaster is they're paying proper money next time around for a decent solar system.
They buy twice every
exactly,
time.
Yeah.
They usually don't do it a third time. If they've been done once, it doesn't happen a third time.
That's right, yeah.
So what are the ways that you as a consumer can ensure, Mark, some of the key things that you can look for to make sure you don't end up in this situation?
Look, the first thing I reckon is just the solar company itself, right? And so you need to do a little bit of background research. So there's so many companies that just pop up every 12 months ago. They get a really glossy web page. They're really good at marketing, and you think they're good, but if you do a little bit of a background check, you realise they've just been in the industry no time at all. They've got no real experience with solar. They just know how to sell a product, So that would be the first thing. So look deep into the company itself. What do you reckon about that?
Mate, I totally agree. And one thing that stands out to me, Warwick from Sunwiz said the other day that he said an average solar company is rated higher on Google than a great restaurant. And I went,
yes, I heard that. Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
And I looked into that, and he's 100% right. People have, a couple of 5-star reviews, and you can pick which ones are fake and which ones aren't. My tip for those playing at home is read the reviews, but don't just read the reviews. Read the reviews, right? If it looks like a duck and it sounds like a duck, it's probably a duck. A great sign for reviews that are genuine is they mention someone's name. Hey, Mark designed this system for me, Corey was the installer, and it went off without a hitch. Bonus points if the person's put up photos as well. You know that's a genuine review, and that person had a great experience. That's one of my favourites.
And if it goes, Corey designed the system and Mark installed it, that's going to be bad. I've been off the tools for a long time, so don't do that.
Make sure it's not Mark. They're really good points. They're really good points. And speaking of which, like the installer, this is my favourite topipic. The installer. Why is that so important? I mean, what to look out for when actually selecting an installer as well?
So, I think you're like me with your installers, right? You're a Sparky, I'm a Sparky. We've been in the game for a long time. There is, Sparkies learn stuff. You don't do a 4-year apprenticeship and then years...
Not Nigel Morris long time, but long time.
Not that long, no, not veteran status yet, but you learn things and you pick things up when you're on the tools, and I think when a Sparky is running a business, not all Sparkies are good business people either, to be fair, right? But when a Sparky's running a business, and there's other, like in my business, I've got, there's 4 of us actually that are Sparkies in the office,
Yes.
And we care about details about, have you got a gal screw or a zinc screw outside? Gal saddles, zinc saddles. Like how are you fastening these things? We're not just getting the cheapest cable ties we can, because it's going to save us, $1,000 a year. We're looking for quality and things that last a long time, so.
It's a big point, everyone always obsesses over what's the inverter, what's the panels. But, I've often seen the greatest products on the market last 5 years, and I've seen products that we wouldn't consider to be top notch stand the test of time. And that is purely because of the install quality. And it does come down to those things. Circuit breakers, there's no point putting on SunPower panels and using a chint circuit breaker. You know, you wouldn't do that. You'd use a high quality circuit breaker because you know that's there to protect personnel, property, and livestock. That's what it's there for. You know, so it's really interesting that people obsess over the quality of parts, but it's the nitty gritty, the stuff under the panels that you can't see most of the time, which is the difference between great, good, or very average. But what about the actual person?
And the person. Of course, exactly. And like I don't know if you remember this, but like back in 2009 was my first install, right? I had no one to show me what to do. I was a Sparky.
Apprenticeship.
Right, okay. So I was 15 years out of my apprenticeship at that stage, but I had no idea what to do with solar, right? So I just tested it out on the roof, you know, and it was pretty bad. I mean, I still did good workmanship, but I had no one to teach me how to do electrical work up on a roof, you know, and I'd made so many mistakes. I think this is a problem in the industry, as you get apprentices that finish their time, they go on and work for a couple of years doing something, and they go, oh, let's jump on this solar gig. So they go and subcontract for your cheapest company and, you know, get paid $1,000, and they're like, oh, wow, $1,000 I get to do this system. They smash it out in 4 hours, and they're just learning on your roof, you know. They'll soon realise that $1,000 doesn't go a long way in business, you know, when they've got 3 blokes working with them and materials and stuff.
And when you've got to buy high quality material. You know? And I'm a big fan, Mark, as well. You know, we have this discussion of in-house installers versus subbies, and you just mentioned that they'll slam it out in 4 hours, and you are totally wrong. It'll be 3 hours. But here's the thing about in-house guys and subbies. Subbies are paid by the panel, and you can get a really good subby. I was a good subby once upon a time, you know, and I'm sure you probably were as well. You can get a really good subby, but at the end of the day, our guys are paid hourly. They are actually incentivized for the job to take longer and to do a better job, right? So when it comes time to make a really hard decision, you've got pill A, take the shortcut, get off the roof, let's get to the pub, or pill B, don't take the shortcut, do the good install, and not go to the pub. You would need a very strong moral compass as a subby to not take the shortcut.
Because it's not your liability for that next 25 years, you know. It's as a subby, it's not.
For today.
And tell me when do you get angry at your installers? Like, when would you get upset with your installers? Is it because they knocked off in 6 hours, or 8 hours, or took 2 days to do the install? Or is it because you had a problem with the install, you know? So, you know, you don't care whether they take 2 days. I mean, I don't love my installers taking 2 days on a job. They should take 1. But the biggest issue for me is that customer is happy. And 3 years down the track, you know, Fred hasn't screwed up every install that is done, and I'm going back to it, you know.
Of course, so, and you're left with a bucket of liability.
Exactly,
because you're going to pass that to your kids.
Exactly,
So, that's interesting. They're really good points. Now, I'm going to get into the nugget of gold. Mark.
Yes.
Are we ready for this?
Yes, this is a great one.
This is one that I would recommend to anyone buying solar to do, although it may clog the phones, but I'm going to give it to you anyway. My friend Eddie told me that to find a great solar company and someone that will look after you for the length of your marriage that you're about to enter into, give them a call and ask to speak to their service department, and one of 2 things will happen. What's going to happen at your business, Mark?
You know what, I'd say come into my business and ask to talk.
Okay.
I'll bring you upstairs. We don't normally do that. But what's going to happen? They'll get onto Shane. You know, or there's a couple of guys up in the office that Kendall is really good at the first point of call and service. Shane's our Sparky that does service. If Shane's not there, you'll talk to Ryan, my operations manager, who's a Sparky, and otherwise it's me at last call. So
all great solar companies have offices full of electricians. Full of electricians, people that can answer your call, people that are at your service, at your demand. You're the client. This is about you. You know, some solar companies don't have a single Sparky that owns it or work there. And they're using a sub. Anyway, that's another topic. That's my gold nugget for you. When researching solar companies, the last little bit of due diligence, give them a call, ask to speak to the head of service, and see if you get crickets. Or if you get to speak to a highly intelligent person that's going to be able to solve your problem.
And if you can trick them with one of your questions, you probably haven't got a good service guy, I guess. You know, so.
That is true. Awesome, guys. Well, Mark is the nugget of gold. Mark, thank you so much for joining me today.
Thanks, Jake.
Speaking about how to get regret-free solar.
Exactly.
We really appreciate you tuning in. We hope this has helped. Until next time, Uru.